It all started back in 2008, a year that would change superhero movies forever. The first phase of the MCU ran from 2008 to 2012, and it was a monumental gamble. It consisted of just 6 movies, kicking off with Iron Man. Remember that feeling? Robert Downey Jr. didn't just play Tony Stark. He became him, defining for a generation what a modern superhero could be. From there, we got the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America, the first Avenger. Each movie was focused on building its own hero, its own corner of this new world. But the genius of Phase 1 was the connective tissue. That moment Nick Fury showed up in Tony's mansion at the very end of Iron Man and first uttered the word, Avengers Initiative? That was originally just an Easter egg, a little nod for the fans. But it worked so well that Marvel realized they had something bigger on their hands. They weren't just making separate movies. They were building universe. And then in 2012, it all paid off with the Avengers. Seeing these characters who had been on their own journeys finally share the screen, banter, and fight together was pure magic. The critics and fans went wild for that connectivity. Of course, a story is only as good as its villains, and Phase 1 gave us some memorable ones. Obadiah Stane as Ironmonger, Emil Blonsky as Abomination, Ivan Vanko's Whiplash, the scheming Loki, and the Red Skull. And speaking of Loki, his appearance in the Avengers brought with it the first proper post-credit scene that truly meant something, a tease of a bigger threat, a purple titan named Thanos. It was here that the Infinity Saga truly began, even if we didn't fully realize it yet. By the time the credits rolled on Phase 1, it had established 6 main Avengers, introduced 2 Infinity Stones, the Space Stone in the Tesseract and the Mind Stone in Loki's scepter, and grossed a staggering $3.8 billion against a $1 billion budget. The foundation was rock solid. With that momentum, Phase 2 roared in from 2013 to 2015, and it was all about expansion. This phase also gave us 6 movies: Iron Man 3, Thor, The Dark World, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. But the movies weren't the only story anymore. This was the era when Marvel first dipped its toes into television with Agents of S.H.I.E.D.L.D., a show that started with a direct connection to the films before charting its own course. On the big screen, Phase 2 deepened our world. We got incredible sidekicks like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we were launched into the cosmos with the Guardians of the Galaxy. This cosmic journey was crucial because it introduced us to the Power Stone, and we saw the Reality Stone in Thor, The Dark World. Thanos, teased at the end of Phase 1, finally started to make his presence felt. The villain roster expanded too, from the deceptive Mandarin in Iron Man 3 to the dark elf Malekith, the political threat of Alexander Pierce, the fanatical Ronin, the shy nightmare Ultron, and the corporate greed of Yellow Jacket. This phase was a massive success, with a budget of around $1.1 billion earning over $5.2 billion. Films like The Winter Soldier and Guardians were critical darlings, while Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron proved their box office might by crossing the billion-dollar mark. It was also during this time that Netflix launched its own corner of the Marvel Universe, giving us a grittier, more grounded look at characters like Daredevil, a parallel world that fans would come to love. This brings us to the peak of the mountain, the climax of a story 11 years in the making. Phase 3, running from 2016 to 2019, was an unprecedented 11-movie event that started with a bang and ended with a universe-changing whimper. It kicked off with Captain America: Civil War, a film that did the unthinkable. It pitted our heroes against each other. And the villain who tore them apart wasn't a monster or a god. He was a grieving man named Zemo, proving that the greatest threats can be entirely human. This phase was a non-stop introduction of new favorites and epic conclusions. We met the mysticism of Doctor Strange, explored the cosmic family drama with Ego the Living Planet in Guardians Volume 2, got the heartfelt high school story of Spider-Man in Homecoming facing the Vulture, reinvented Thor with the rock god energy of Ragnarok against Hela, and celebrated culture in the groundbreaking Black Panther with Killmonger. Then came the one-two punch that changed everything. Avengers: Infinity War brought Thanos, the Mad Titan teased for years, to the forefront in a devastating victory for evil. The snap was a moment of silence that echoed around the world. A year later, Avengers Endgame delivered a cathartic, time-traveling, and emotionally resonant conclusion to the Infinity Saga, culminating in Tony Stark's ultimate sacrifice. The phase ended on a lighter note with Spider-Man Far From Home, dealing with the aftermath of it all and introducing the next big twist with Mysterio. Just as this monumental chapter closed in 2020, the world shut down due to COVID, forcing Marvel and its fans to take a breath and reflect on the incredible journey from a cave in Afghanistan to a final battle for the universe. The Infinity Saga was complete. After a year of silence, the MCU returned, but it was a very different landscape. Phase 4, from 2021 to 2022, launched the Multiverse Saga, and it was a period of massive transition. This time, the story wasn't just told in theaters. Disney Plus became the new home for Marvel storytelling, with a slate of series that were just as important as the movies. We had 7 films: Black Widow finally giving Natasha her due, the martial arts wonder of Shang-Chi, the universe-shattering Spider-Man, No Way Home, which brought together 3 generations of Spider-Men and their iconic villains, the psychedelic horror of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the underwhelming Thor, Love and Thunder, and the emotional tribute of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. On the TV side, we got deep dives into characters with WandaVision, the buddy road trip of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the mind-bending time travel of Loki, the animated possibilities of What If, the street-level action of Hawkeye, the psychological journey of Moon Knight, the youthful energy of Ms. Marvel, and the fourth-wall-breaking comedy of She-Hulk. It was a lot. And to be honest, Phase 4 was a mixed bag. While No Way Home was a cultural event you can watch over and over, other projects felt like a first draft, struggling to find their footing in a post-Endgame world. A highlight, however, was the beginning of the Netflix Marvel Universe's integration. Charlie Cox's Daredevil popped up in No Way Home, and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin was a menacing force in Hawkeye. For all its flaws, Phase 4 was about planting seeds, introducing new heroes, and setting the board for the next big conflict. It did so with a budget of $1.5 billion, grossing over $5 billion, a testament to the MCU's enduring power, even during a pandemic. That brings us to the present and the immediate future. Phase 5 is happening right now, running from 2024 to 2025, with a slate of 6 movies and 9 Disney Plus series. We've already seen the scale of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which officially introduced us to the Council of Kangs. We've had the emotional farewell of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Coming up, we have the Marvels, the wild-card event of Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America, Brave New World, and the anti-hero team-up of Thunderbolts. On the streaming side, we've had Secret Invasion and Loki Season 2, with more on the horizon like Echo, Agatha All Along, and Daredevil, Born Again. But all of this is building toward what comes next. Phase 6 is slated to begin in 2025 and run through 2027, kicking off with the highly anticipated Fantastic Four. Then, in 2026, we'll get Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and speaking of which, the trailer for that is rumored to drop any day now between March 6th and 13th, so keep your eyes peeled, followed by the next epic team-up, Avengers, Doomsday. This all culminates in 2027 with Avengers, Secret Wars. There are even rumors that Secret Wars might be split into 2 parts, pushing the end of Phase 6 into 2028. And this is where things get really interesting. Word on the street is that Secret Wars won't just be a final battle, it will act as a soft reboot for the entire MCU. Think of it as a comic book event come to life, where all the ongoing threads, the X-Men from their own universe, the Fantastic Four, the existing Avengers, and others, are brought together into a cohesive whole. After Secret Wars, the stories we love can continue, but they'll all exist in the same sandbox. This will likely lead into Phase 7, which could be called the Mutant Saga or the Timeless Saga. And if it's the Timeless Saga, that would be a perfect fit for Kong the Conqueror, a villain whose entire comic book history is about timelines. But given the recent behind-the-scenes issues with Kong in the MCU, I have a strong feeling Marvel might be pivoting away from him as the central big bad. It's a huge topic for comic fans to speculate on, but for now, we just have to wait and see. From a billionaire in a cave to a multiversal war, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has given us over a decade of unforgettable moments. We've seen heroes rise, fall, and rise again. We've laughed, we've cried, and we've sat in stunned silence as our favorite characters turned to dust. And the best part? The story is far from over. With new heroes, new threats, and a whole multiverse of possibilities, the next chapter promises to be just as wild. But that's all the analysis I have for you today. I want to know what you think. Are you excited for the Multiverse Saga, or do you miss the simpler days of Phase 1? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this complete timeline breakdown, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the worlds we love. Until the next video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.